me now, you see me winning now. Look at me now, you see me winning now. Look at me now, you see me winning now. Look at me now, you see me winning now. Look at me now, you see me winning now. Look at me now, you see me winning now. Look at me now, you see me winning now.
What's going on, you guys? It's your girl, Angie, with AngieBWinn, and I am so glad to be behind the microphone again. I just want to welcome you all, the ones who listened to my original podcast, which was Under Construction with AngieBWinn. We're back. This was the original blueprint that God gave for me to prepare me for what I'm doing essentially now. But he was firm with me this go round. And he basically was like, look, you have until February 1st to have your podcast released and for it to be live. So we're here. We are live, baby. AngieBWinn Podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Today, this is just going to be, pretty informal. I just want to introduce myself, talk a little bit about what the podcast stood for before and how it has evolved and what it is going to become moving forward. So originally back in 2019, God told me, he had me in a master's program. I struggled in undergrad, and so when he told me I was going to go to a master's program, I kept asking him the whole 2 years, why do you have me here? Why do you have me here? I don't like school. I'm not good at school. That's not something that I felt was my strong area. And he definitely got me together, and he said, it's because you speak those words that it has been a struggle for you when it comes to your educational career. And so when he told me that, I was able to, he helped me finish my master's program. And then when it was time for graduation, he told me he wanted me to launch a podcast. And it was titled Under Construction. It's still up on SoundCloud and Spotify. You can see it on my website just to see what I was speaking about a few years back. But I have AngieBWinn, and when he told me to bring the podcast back, I figured that it was only right that I dub it AngieBWinn. So we're AngieBWinn across the board. And it really just speaks to where I am in this season in my life. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. God did release me from my job at the end of 2022. And so now I just really want to walk according to the path that he has set for me, not looking to the left or looking to the right of me, but really just walking straight, because he is my strategist. He is the ultimate strategist, the ultimate creator. And so I'm just honored to be able to be behind the mic and just, share my heart and my life experiences with you all. So today, I just want to encourage you all to embrace the process, even though it looks different from what everybody else is doing. And that was the thing. That's what helped. That's what made me deviate from the podcast. So I did the podcast for a year. I was supposed to come out with season 2. Some things happened and I never picked it back up again. I was already on Instagram, and I saw what everyone who was like me or similar to, had similarities to my lifestyle. I saw what they were doing, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, people working with brands and they're mom influencers, and this is what it is that they're doing. And so I partook. I did the influencer thing for at least the first 2 years of my business. Really heavy in influencing, but it began to be taxing for me, because I started to compare myself to what other people were doing, even though I knew in my heart that God had called me to do it a different way. But it seemed like everybody around me was doing it different from what I was doing it, and I wasn't comfortable. I was not comfortable stepping outside of the box. I wasn't comfortable with who I was, and so it was really difficult for me to really show up as the authentic me on social media platforms. And so what I would encourage everyone to do is social media, the internet, is not going anywhere. In fact, it is growing vastly. And so you're going to be exposed to people doing the things that you're doing. Perhaps they're doing it better than what you're doing. And you have to know your value. You have to know that God has called you to do what it is that you're doing on purpose with intention, so that you can continue to stay the course, to not be easily swayed, or I think in the word it says, to be blown by the wind, blown to and fro. You want to know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, even though it doesn't look like it's going to work. I was sharing with my husband not too long ago that, the most successful people are the people who continue to do the things that look like they're not going to work regardless. You have to love what you do. You have to be passionate about what you do and how you're going to show up for yourself. And the only person who can tell your unique story is you. And so you have to be in a position in which you can embrace your God-given purpose, your God-given process. Even though I'm embracing it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't come with trials and it doesn't come with tribulations. It doesn't mean that I don't cry. It doesn't mean that it's difficult and it doesn't have any challenges. It doesn't mean that I'm always on the mountaintops. What it means is that I just trust God. I have to trust God regardless, because he knows best. He tells us to write the vision to make it plain, but he orders the steps of our life. And so we have to make sure, we have to believe in him and believe in ourselves that the gifts that he has given us, or the work that he has given our hands to do, will make room. Our gifts make room for us. We don't have to make room for our gifts. So I hope that you all were inspired. I pray that you were encouraged. And I pray that you tune in on the AngieBWinn Podcast. You can follow me over on Instagram at AngieBWinn. You can follow me on TikTok on AngieBWinn. You can also keep up with me via my website. That's www.AngieBWinn.com. I told you we're AngieBWinn across the board, you guys. So I will be dropping a podcast episode every Friday. And just tune in, just tap in. If you guys have any suggestions, if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Leave me comments, give me feedback. Let's get into it. 2023, we are creating the life and not creating the content. You all be blessed. And that's all I got for you. Peace. I'm finished.